What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about disassembling your AR-15. Right here I have a Palmetto State Armory AR-15 with MOE furniture in the olive drab, in case y'all were wondering. But today we're going to be solely focusing on taking apart your upper receiver from your lower receiver and disassembling, the upper and getting it ready for cleaning. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take apart your upper receiver from your lower receiver. Now, to do that, normally some people use punches. I normally will just use a bullet. It is, in fact, my general preference. A lot of people have their own preference, which is okay. I mean, that's what makes this country great. We all have different opinions, and, we're just a hodgepodge of everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart these two pins here. We're just going to push them out. They are captive, which means that they will not fully come out. They're just going to stay just like that, right? Make sure that's all the way. There we go. And then we're just going to separate the upper from the lower. Okay. Here you have your upper receiver of your AR-15, and here is your lower receiver of your AR-15. The lower receiver is technically the firearm component of the AR-15 under federal guidelines, but we're not going to be focusing on the lower today, so we're just going to put that aside. I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible. This is kind of a beginner's guide for people who want to learn about these types of firearms. And if it's your first time owning an AR-15, kudos to you. You've probably made some of the best financial decisions of your life. So yeah, let's get down to it, huh? So what we're going to do is we're going to get this prepped, ready for cleaning. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take out your charging handle in your bolt carrier group, which is in here. You're going to pull it back, and see, it just comes out just like that. So you're going to pull out your bolt carrier group. It's going to sit just like that, and your charging handle should come out of this little recess. There's like a recess in here. It just comes out just like that. Now I'm going to put the upper aside. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. We'll focus on that in a minute. Today what I'm going to be using is some CLP. Some people have their own brand of CLP, whether it's Hops number 9 and so forth. I'm also going to be using some of the Lucas oil, gun oil. That's just my preference. Everyone has their own, like I said, like Hops number 9, Tetra gun, and so forth. Okay, so in order to take apart the BCG, otherwise known as the bolt carrier group, you're going to want to take apart you're going to take out the firing pin retaining pin. So you're just going to pry that out, which should just come out. There we go. I normally use a bullet. Like I said, people use punches. It's up to their preference on what they want to use. Be creative. So here is the firing pin retaining pin. Next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take the firing pin out. Firing pin just pops out just like that. Normally you just dump it down. I have a trick to mine, which I just pop it right out. Okay, next thing we're going to take out the cam pin, which holds your bolt face to your bolt carrier group. What you're going to want to do is you're going to push it like that, rotate it 90 degrees, orient it just like that, as you can see, and you're going to want to pop it out, and that comes out fairly easily if you have a pretty clean BCG. Next thing we're going to want to do is take the bolt face and the extractor from the bolt carrier. So we're just going to separate the two just a little bit, and it pops out just like that. So okay, so now that we have this disassembled, what I like to do is I will have a rag on the ready. I know it's a little dirty. I've cleaned multiple guns with it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean it and lubricate it. So CLP is really good, especially for getting rid of carbon residue. It is extremely flammable, so do be careful. And while you are disassembling your firearm, make sure your firearm is completely unloaded. Safety is a #1 priority. Okay, so let's get down to business. So we're going to start with the firing pin. I mean, it's not that bad. I got a little bit of sludge on it, actually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray it down a little CLP. Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about this mat. But, yeah, just, some people have their own, set of tools, for cleaning their AR. I used to, but I moved and a lot of it got lost in storage. So yeah, we're just kind of working with bare minimum here. This is kind of like just a beginner's guide. If you don't have any fancy tools, I get it. So now we're gonna clean off the bolt. Okay, I'm just gonna spray it down, give her a nice, I really want to get into everywhere where you would suspect to be carbon buildup, like under the gas rings, above the gas rings. The gas rings are these little rings right here. As you can see, you want to get all in here and here. Not so much on the bolt face. I mean, the bolt face is going to need to be cleaned, but normally 9 times out of 10, the focus normally is on, in my opinion, is focused on these two little areas where the gas rings are right next to them, the right and left of them. Okay, so now that's probably as good as it's going to get. And if I had any special tools, I could probably get it done a little better, but we're not worried about that. So now, firing pin, retaining pin can go over there. Cam pin, we're just gonna give her a little spritz of the CLP, as you can see. Don't need a whole lot. I kind of overdid it a little bit there. That's okay. As Bob Ross once said, it's just a happy little accident. Okay, we got that out of the way. Next thing, I'm just gonna spray the BCG, otherwise known as bulk carrier group, down. A little bit of CLP. It's okay. So now we're just gonna wipe it down. Make sure all the surfaces are nice and lubed up and clean. Okay. Make sure everything's nice and dry. Just a little bit of lube. We don't need a whole lot, because that's what the gun oil is for, and that's going to be just in a little bit here. So we're just going to clean off the bulk carrier. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Okay, let's check the inside. Whew. I appreciate y'all watching. This is my second video. I did make a first video on the AR15 and the teardown of the upper, and a little review. But a lot of people got mad because I mispronounced a lot of terms. I do apologize for that. I was actually without sleep for 3 days because I have very bad insomnia. So I do apologize about that. So we're just going to clean up the charging handle. Not to be perfect, maybe a little spritz of that. And then we're just going to wipe it down. And that's pretty good. Okay, so now in order to put your upper back together, we're gonna put the bolt carrier group together, and it's gonna be in the reverse order that we disassembled it. So what we're gonna want to do is you're gonna take your bolt face, and your extractor. We're gonna put it, make sure it's oriented correctly, or else the cam pin will not go in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put the cam pin in, which should go in. I have it oriented right. There we go. And then what we're going to want to do, we're going to pull it forward. We're going to pull the bolt face forward, and we're going to turn that 90 degrees, just like that, as you can see. Next thing we're going to want to do is put the firing pin in, which should just fall right in. And it might need a little persuasion. So now the firing pin's in, as you can see. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that. Okay, so firing pin's in. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to make sure that the firing pin retaining pin is in, which we're just going to push on in, and it should just make its way in there. All right, and that's pretty much golden. Alrighty, so now we got a fully assembled bulk carrier group. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it inside of the upper receiver. Now to do that, I'm going to put a little bit of gun oil just on the crevices of the BCG. Anything that's going to cause friction. So like the bottom, we're just going to put a little bit in there. And see, now it's oiled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the charging handle first. We're going to put it in just like so. As you can see. See, now the charging handle is in its recess. We're going to push forward just a little bit. And a lot of people try to put their BCGs into the receiver like this. That will not work. You want to make sure your bolt face is completely in the frontward position, because if you do try to put the BCG into the receiver, what will happen is it will bind up against your cam pin. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to put it in like that. And now she's golden, I'm going to put a little more oil just for great measure. A lot of people don't like over oiling their guns. I tend to disagree. I think it is a great thing, and judge me how you like, but that's just the way I roll. So now we're going to put a little bit of oil right in there where the charging handle is, a little smoother. Yeah, there we go. Work it all in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the upper and the lower together. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to put front in first and make sure it's in. Should just be able to push it down in there, and then the bottom, you know, the rear, push it in like that. Make sure everything locks in. As you can see, yeah, she's pretty smooth now. Not as grainy as it was, because I do go to my own little shooting spot, and it does get a little dusty out there. So you're gonna want to make sure that, you know, especially if you're in an environment with either moisture or a lot of dust, like it does here in Georgia, it's good to have a protective agent for the receivers and firearm itself, which normally I will use some CLP and spray down the receivers, the barrel, wipe it down, and then put it in my safe. So yeah, I mean, she's good to go. That's pretty much how to clean off your AR-15, especially just taking apart your upper and your bolt carrier group. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching, and thank you for your patience. The next video I will do, I'm going to show you how to properly utilize this firearm and take you to the range where we're going to do some shooting. So yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.